Welcome back to the GC channel. I'm your host, Orlando Casares, the president and founder of First Law International. If you're new with us, welcome. This is a channel especially for you, for the GCs and for in-house legal teams, and is powered by General Counsels. We'll be covering today some of the trendiest topics, things that keep you up at night, and we hope that you will find the next few minutes invaluable and very insightful. So follow us along. If there's one thing that we know about you is how successful you have been in hiring, building, and mentoring your in-house legal teams, sometimes at times with very limited resources and with or without the full endorsement of senior management. So you've had to endure different kinds of generations of supportive management in a little bit less at times. But what would you say to the audience in terms of the challenges today to build a high-performance in-house legal team when they're dealing with post-COVID or maybe still through COVID, attrition, difficulties in attracting millennials, all those challenges that we talked about during the spring conference last month. And you had some very strong and very insightful points about that. So what would you say again? How to build a high-performance team today by an in-house legal department with limited resources?
You know, I would always focus on a very important consideration. You can always do more with less. At the same time, you know, there is a maximum that you can reach with the people, with the, human capital you have. So, in the current situation, and by the way, this is not necessarily a new situation, a lot of, functions, supportive functions after the 2008-9 crisis, or even prior to that, other parts of corporate histories have had to deal with, attrition, people leaving, people wanting to move for another opportunity. So you find yourself with, at times, less human capital than what you would wish to have in order maybe to do an even better job. Well, it is to be, very clear, very transparent. If you have a legal team of X amount of professionals and the requirements of the multinational company would be for every single document originating from every single plant to be reviewed by a lawyer, well, unfortunately, you don't have the right resources to do that, and the organization needs to understand that maybe you need to, focus on the more strategic and more meaningful work that really will add, value to the bottom line of the organization. You will need to clearly make most of the time on priorities. Now, priorities, I often hear in different organizations that people suffer from, there are too many priorities. We need to work on everything at the same time. I would simply say that means that priorities are not prioritized. That means to say that there is not enough communication, including maybe with, senior executives on what really matters for the organization at that precise point of time. I think a lot of organization or, functional units in organization will set off, working on a lot of different things because, that gives an impression of busyness. I mean, you heard me, busyness, not business. So, you've got a very, a propensity of individuals to work on not only what pleases them and what pleases the organization, but with ever more. At points of time, you need to stop. I don't have enough resources. Either we're going to outsource this or we are going to take an additional person on board. And, here you've mentioned that I've been successful in putting teams together and managing, teams of legal professionals. True to that point, I would humbly say that it wasn't always absolutely, painless or successful immediately. But I think that to less seasoned GCs who are embarking on that mission of maybe hiring and forming teams is, make sure that you don't hire the best lawyer. It's nice to have a great lawyer on the team, but make sure that you hire a person who is, I'm coming back to that word, curious to learn, curious to engage with the business, really a very good communicator who will go and get the information that he needs, to work on a contract. There is no such waste of time for me than, a younger professional who would say, oh, let's take a standard contract, adapt it to what we believe is the business reality, only to hear 2 weeks later, after the deadline was set for that document to be issued, that the other party has a huge amount of comments to that document because it doesn't meet, what's been negotiated. I don't think that happens often anymore. It certainly doesn't happen in my environment, because I would say to a person on my team systematically, when something comes in with no further, explanation through a call or per email of, how urgent is this? Have we understood everything around, for example, that contract or that other document review, is to pick up the phone to the person who originated the request for assistance and to have that very open discussion, ensuring that you've got it right and that you will spend minimum amount of time, or that you will really understand that, in fact, it's not a priority at all. I mean, I often hear the word deadline, like, the line on which we all gonna die. These are subjective determinations of time limits that individuals from time to time, set to themselves or set to other individuals within an organization to show how important they are. Well, of course, there are always true deadlines. I mean, you have a deadline to file an important document, or you have an important deadline, to apply for, a tax refund, for example. You cannot miss it. These are true deadlines. But anything else? How many times in my 30 years as in-house counsel have I not seen a situation where you work quite heavily, including an hour here in the evening or on the weekend on a document, you return it on the Monday morning, especially when you're younger, you have the feeling of work well done, and 2 weeks later, the business person has still not opened your email and come back with questions. So we need to learn those different things of, it's going back again to living in society. You live in a corporation, you live in society, you need to understand what the expectations are, and people need to also understand how you can manage their expectations. So last point I would say on this is, I am never more irritated with someone who would, for example, receive an important email or an important document to review and would leave things unattended for a certain amount of days without pointing out, is this urgent? When is this required for? And is it potentially negotiable? Likewise, I would say that, if I receive a request and I cannot handle, I will not leave a person in the dark for 2 days to wonder whether I'm going to give one day a response. I will say in the next half an hour, listen, this will need to wait, or I can address this, but let me know if it is a faster answer that you are requiring. Not to worry, I'm not available, but someone else might be, or we have outside counsel that we can call on.
Well, thank you for watching. If you would like to see more videos like this one, subscribe to the channel and press the notification button below so that you will be alerted when new videos come out. We hope that you've enjoyed it, and we look forward to the next one. And don't forget, you heard it here first.